What if I told you in this particular issue, Panthro and Lionel come to blows, and Cheetah and Panthro have a one-on-one ceremonial duel? Would that interest you? Because I was super interested when I found out that that's what's in this issue. And also Snarf makes an appearance, so that's awesome too. What is up, guys? I am Theblazingdeity. I host a channel where the hottest gaming and comic content is like religion, and we're back with our Thundercats review videos. This is episode, or I call it episode. I know I'm going to do that a lot, but this is volume number 3. And we pick up with Kalika roaming about the headquarters or the hideout of the Thundercats in the dead of night. Very sus, very sneaky, very untrustworthy activity, all right? And stumbles upon Panthro, who makes it very, very clear that he does not trust her. He makes it very, very clear that he will be keeping his eye on her because Lionel is biased and, to an experience to see that, her story just adds up too well. Like it's so perfect that it is conspicuous, and it just flies over Lionel's head, right? And of course, later she bumps into Lionel and she explains her story again and looks for some, support, right? To be consoled. So Lionel uses the Eye of Thundera, opens a portal, and is randomly set upon by some creature that was within. And we'll find out who that creature is later. But before that, I just want to ask you guys, are you team Lionel when it comes to Kalika, or are you team Panthro? I'm kind of team Panthro, I'm not gonna lie, because the activities of Kalika is like really, really sus. Right? Like I said in the last video, she could be an apprentice of some sort to Mum-Ra, speaking of whom is still trying to get secrets out of the spirit of Jaga. So now they hear Lionel, the rest of the Thundercats, scream because he was set upon by some creature, and it turns out to be Snarf, a loyal member of the Thundercats crew, their actual mascot. It was pretty much a pet and a guardian, a protector of the royal family, who's actually been guarding the royal family's treasure, hence the title of the book, right? So they're invited in to look at the treasures and the relics kept by the royal family. But before they all go in, Panthro tells Kalika specifically, you cannot come in, you are not a Thundercat, you're not one of us, you're staying out here. And when Lionel finds out that that happened, they're immediately right back at it. He's like, Panthro, what is up with you? Why are you being so disrespectful? Why are you treating her like this? Panthro's like, you have a hyper bias. You really just want to, bum naughty bitch. You want to get it down with Kalika. That's why you're so blinded. And they swing on each other. Or Panthro swings on Lionel. Because he's fed up with Lionel at this point, and Lionel is fed up with him. They're just saying things that they can't take back. But because Panthro strikes Lionel, it initiates a sacred duel that has to happen amongst Thundercats. When a Thundercat disagrees with another and it comes to blows, there's a ceremonial fight that they have to do. They have to wear garb and everything, which I think is really cool, right? But because Lionel is a part of the royal family and a leader, or the de facto leader, the defined leader of the Thundercats, he cannot participate. So someone has to fight Panthro in his stead, and Cheetara steps up immediately and is like, I will fight Panthro, right? So they put on the ceremonial garb and they tussle, they go at it, right? And I wanted a little bit more from this. But I can't be overly mad. I did say I wanted it to come to blows eventually, but I wish it would have been more than a couple panels, right? But within these panels, we have Panthro breaking down Cheetara, and you would believe that he is definitely capable of doing this, being the more experienced fighter, being the most prodigious fighter amongst the Thundercats because of his general background, because of his militant background. It would only make sense, right? Come to find out that Cheetara is no slouch herself, and actually strategized this, understanding that the weight of the ceremonial armor was weighing her down, causing her to then, once it was shed, speed blitz Panthro, actually beating him in the ceremonial combat. Now, I want to ask you guys another question. Bloodlusted, taken seriously, who do you think would have come out on top between Chitara and PANTRO? Outside of the ceremonial garb and within the ceremonial garb, because I believe that if this was bloodlusted and PANTRO wasn't so blinded by his anger at Lion-O and misdirected and was focused more on Cheetah, I think he could have beat her. But I also can give it to Chitara because that speed blitz is immaculate. And if you know anything about combat, speed is one of the most important factors. If you can get to your opponent or do damage to your opponent and effective damage to your opponent before they can damage you, that will always change the tide of battle. But because he was subdued, because he was beaten, they agreed to disagree. He said, listen, I was wrong. I might not trust her, but that's no reason for me to be disrespectful to Lion-O, and I will respect your leadership, and, moving forward, we're going to be good. We're going to be fine, right? I meant to mention this earlier. Lord Slith was, strung up earlier, but then we find out at the end of the book who strung him up, and it's Mon Cain, the mutant leader of Third Earth. So we have two new characters that are going to be within the pages here. We have Mon Cain and we have Snarf. I'm happy to see Snarf. I'm always happy to see Snarf. When it comes to mascots or the little creatures that, teens and anime or comic books bring with the main character, I've always been a fan, right? So it's cool to see Snarf. It's awesome to see Snarf. And with Mon Cain, it gives us another possible antagonist or a person to deal with. I don't think he'll necessarily be bad. I just feel like he'll be like a thorn in the, side of the Thundercats every once in a while with his beef now with Lord Slith. And I think it's going to be a really interesting dynamic. So far, we have the inner conflict with the Thundercats, even though they think it's resolved. I do not think it will be resolved so easily. I do think that Calica is going to eventually instigate another confrontation. Right now, she's just been the scapegoat for, all the distrust that PANTRO has, and rightly so. And Lion-O has been sticking up for her, rightly so, in his perspective. But us as the reader, we can tell that there's something off. Like I said, I still feel like she could be some apprentice of some sort, some extension or an aspect of Mum-Ra in some potential, But if that's not the case, if she's just sketch, if she's just a sus individual, a sketchy individual, and we're just, throwing her, under the bus for no reason, then I will admit that I was wrong. The very first glimpse of that being the case, I'll admit I was wrong, and I'll be Team Calica for the rest of the duration of these Thundercat issues. But I gotta give it like a 7.5, and it's only because I'm disappointed in how quick the confrontation ended. But that doesn't mean there won't be more confrontation later down the road. I am loving the Thundercats series. I really am. And I was told that issue 4 will preview some background about Chitara and also introduce us to a Chitara solo series, which we may be reviewing. If you guys want me to review Chitara issue by issue as well, we can do that alongside the Thundercats reviews. I know, guys, I haven't posted a lot of videos, but we're going to get back to it. So this one will be a 7.5. Tell me what you think. Are you Team Lion-O and Calica? Are you Team PANTRO? Not trusting Calica? Who do you think would have won in a serious bout between PANTRO and Chitara? Would you guys like me to review the Chitara series once it drops? And if you guys like the videos that we're doing, if you guys like the content that I have for you guys on this channel, leave a like. If there's a book or a comic book or anime or a manga you want me to review, put it in the comments. You guys will be getting more gaming videos, but most of these will be comic reviews for now. So I will be trying to link them all together to keep them organized for your listening and viewing pleasure. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I will get you guys with another review video. soon.